You guys an overview of what's on the test. Have you guys taken it before?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Okay, so, well, just to guys refresh your memory, we have a total of 79 questions for the English language portion. Only 45 of them actually count towards your grade, well, towards your score. So there's a little bit of, room to work with. You don't have to really focus on too much on all the questions, but you guys already know that it's not timed, right? Right?
Mm-hmm.
That you can take your time. It's
yeah.
not, yeah. Okay, so of those questions, the 79, there's a total of 3 different types. There's word analysis, there is reading comprehension, and there is literary response and analysis. So we're gonna kind of get through those as we go through the whole course of the prep session. So to start off, I'm going to give you guys a few strategies to use while you're taking the test. For example, the first one is going to be to read actively. So I don't know if you guys want to go ahead and take notes. I'm pretty sure there's blank areas provided you with a pen.
So we can write anywhere on the paper?
Yeah, that's all for you to keep. Okay, so basically the first one is read actively, and I'm pretty sure it's self-explanatory. Keep your head in the game, basically. When you're reading, don't, if you find yourself looking at a blank wall or you're, obviously that means you're not really into the passage. Just make sure to take a deep breath, tell yourself, okay, really, I need to concentrate. So just go back to the text and reread whatever it is that you're reading. Because I know sometimes when you're reading, you kind of just like start thinking about other stuff and it's really pointless. So if you find yourself doing that, start over again, because that means that you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, right? The second one is basically to pre-read the questions. So when you pre-read the questions, this helps you out a lot because it'll give you guys an idea of what's going to be asked. Well, what you should be looking for in the passage. So if there's a total of, like, let's just say 5 questions for the passage that you're going to read, now you're going to know, okay, I have to look for the main idea. I have to look for the definition of this. I have to look for an implication of this. Like, there are certain things, it gives you an idea, it'll help make things a little bit easier for you, and it'll probably make the process of getting through that passage and those questions a lot faster. And then we have the third one, which is to pace yourself. All right, so as I mentioned previously, if you find yourself distracted, make sure to get engaged. Tell yourself, make something relevant to yourself. So if you're reading something, like, oh, okay, I see, this is what happened to me. It'll help you understand the information a lot better if you apply it and make it applicable to you. So by pacing yourself, just make sure you don't spend too much time doing all that stuff. If you get distracted, move on to the next passage. Maybe in that given moment in time, you're just not interested in it. Keep going. And especially because obviously there's going to be harder passages, ones that are going to be a little more difficult for you to understand. Leave those for the end. Like I said, it's not timed. So maybe since it's the harder one, move on to the next passage, which is going to be a lot easier for you. And then you won't have it in your head that you have so much more to do in the test. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if this is hard, move on to the next passage. Keep going. Finish it. Just remember that you didn't finish that given passage. Go back to it and answer them. It's the last one. You can take your time on it. You won't have to worry about anything else. So just make sure to pace yourself. And then just remember that all the questions are going to be, all the answers to the questions are going to be in the passage. So don't psych yourself out and think, oh no, it's not there, it's not there. It's there. Just relax. If you need to reference the passage, obviously you can always turn the page over and look for all the information. It's always going to be there. Trust me, and we'll see that right now. So let's just put all info is there. Okay, and then the fifth one would be that just make sure to answer all the questions. So, like I said, you don't have to go and search through every sentence to find the answer to the questions. Typically, what do we know about essay structures and paragraphs? The first couple of sentences are the ones that give you the topic of the paragraph, right? So it'll kind of give you an idea of what to be looking for in that particular paragraph, and when a question asks you something, you can always reference the first couple of sentences to see if you think it's going to be in there. If it sounds like what the question is asking you, the answer to that is going to be in that paragraph just by reading the first sentence, then your best bet is probably it's going to be there. So just make sure to do that as well. And then, oh, I didn't write it down. So answer questions. Six is to read all the choices. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that while taking tests, you've noticed that there's that one answer that, like, let's just say it's the question, and then answer choice A sounds like, oh, that's the right answer. That's the problem with the CAHSEE. They purposely come up with 4 different answers, and 2 of them are supposed to sound right. So
Similarity.
exactly. So let's just say A, B, C, D. You want to choose A because that's the one that you read first, and it sounds like that's the right one. Trust me, I've been there, I've done that. I'm like, oh, that's the right answer, just move on to the next one. No, don't do that, because they purposely do that to make it sound like it's the correct answer, and it's not. So just make sure to read all the answer choices, because they're there to trick you. And then, so because of that, be aware of the distractor. Okay, so that distractor is the one I just said, choice A, the one that sounds like it's right, but it's not. So it's there purposely to fool you, and don't let it fool you. Okay, so read it thoroughly. Sometimes even just like the difference between there being a not is gonna change the answer to, well, change everything about the question. All right, so then we have eliminate. When you're answering any question on a test, just make sure to kind of weed out all the ones that sound terrible. If this doesn't sound right, cross it out. And if you don't even know that, if you get down to the 2, the distractor and the right answer, just make sure to cross out the other 2. And if you need some time to think about it, you can always go back to it, and the process of elimination is going to help you with time constraints. So if you go back to that question, you can look at it, oh, I already eliminated these, so it's between these 2, so that way you can think about just those 2 possible answers, okay? And then we have take advantage of the information given. Oops. Okay, so for the best example I guess I could give you for this is that, you know when you take a test with teachers, sometimes the questions that are before the one that you're currently answering basically give you the answer for the question that you're answering now. Does that make sense? Yeah. That's what that's basically what the test does as well. Sometimes questions give you answers to the future questions. So the answer's there. And also, it's not like the passage is going to give you the runaround or make you think certain things about the information that they're giving you that's not there and that's not true. So sometimes the answers on there are going to try and trick you to think that that information is there because it sounds like it's similar, but it's really not. And we'll see that when we get to the passage as well. All right, so then we have skip passages, as I mentioned previously. So if you don't feel comfortable answering the questions to a given passage because you weren't engaged or you couldn't, focus at that time, skip it and always go back to it. Chances are, like I said, maybe that's the harder one. And towards the end, you'll be able to dedicate more time towards the harder one because you already have everything else done. Okay? And then remember to ask for more time on the test if you need to do so. I mean, unfortunately, you can't take it the following day. If you start one section of the test, you have to complete it that given day, but we're talking about 4 or 5 hours, so I'm pretty sure we should be okay. So don't rush through anything. You have all the time that you need. All right, so let's get into it. In the